That's what we do. We make dreams happen.
Work with the right people, buy the right deal first. One of my favorite topics, money.
Hi.
Thanks for jumping on the Zoom call.
Yeah, what is going on? This is weird that you asked me to do a Zoom call, not just text me.
Well, this is how we're going to communicate from going on forward. We're always going to be on FaceTime or Zoom. So
Yeah.
but no, I got good news. So we've been talking about getting a property for the last, since I met you, a year ago?
Yeah. You're finally going to let me come partner with you?
We are finally inviting you into one of our exclusive Heat and Dainard properties.
Yay, really? You found one?
From all the way across New York. So this is actually going to be one. No, this isn't actually the first time I've flipped a house with someone from Buffalo, New York.
Really?
Yes, actually one of our clients, I've done this with numerous times that she's out that way. So
oh my gosh, funny.
You're not the first, you're not that special. So good news is I got a good one for us, especially for your first flip in general. Anytime we're talking to anybody about buying their first property, it's about making sure that they're getting into the right kind of project where they can get in and out, learn some lessons, not bite off more than you can chew. And so luckily we sourced a deal off market. It was actually from a landlord that was letting his cousin live in the house for 10 years, super low rent. And he just wanted he literally gave us the price we're going to pay and the numbers work. So we got a really good house out in Bothell, Washington. You don't know a whole lot about Bothell, but what Bothell is, the reason I like this deal as your first property is it's in really good shape, and we'll go through it. But Bothell is one of those markets where there could be sudden appreciation and a jump in the value. The reason being is it's just north, 20 minutes out of Bothell or Bellevue, Washington, which is one of the fastest growing.
That one I do know, because that's where your office is, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's where my house is, my office.
Yeah.
And Bellevue's surrounded by tech with a lot of really good paying jobs. And it's appreciated about 20 to 30% a year right now.
Wow.
For the last 2 years. And so what that's done is it's made Bothell a very expensive market too, because it's what we call the path of progress market. So, good residential neighborhoods just north of there are going to appreciate just almost as fast as the core market in Bellevue.
Okay.
So we're going to pull it up right now. It's a great house. It's not, I hate to disappoint you, it does not look like the Hoarder house.
Oh man.
I know you wanted to look for treasure.
Yeah.
There's not that good a treasure in this one. How have you bought properties in the past? Is it just stuff you find yourself and underwrite yourself and look at things? Or have you ever bought a property off somebody or partnered with somebody like this before?
I've had partners before, but nothing like I've never done a joint venture agreement before.
Okay. So
we've been partners in an LLC and buy a couple properties together, but never a joint venture agreement. And I've always been the one to find the deal and analyze the deal. I've never had one of my other partners find the deal and analyze it and bring it to me. It's always been me.
Okay. So you
nice.
You do all the hard work on the other side in the East Coast. So the cool thing about this is that you get to be a passive investor in this deal. And so we're going to go over the deal right now. And, what we have talked about is, we're going to be putting up half the money. You're going to be putting up half the money, and then we're going to be running the project and then splitting the profit at the end.
Okay.
So you get to kick your feet up and do nothing.
Well, that's great since I have a torn ACL and MCL now.
Yeah, actually don't only kick 1 foot up. Oh, sorry. We're keeping it elevated. And I can tell you that you're very fortunate because I'm actually doing a passive flip myself where I invested in Kara Beckman's property. And it is the most enjoyable thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
I have to call no contractors. I don't have to bid things out. I just wire the money.
So now that you're training me up, it's going to eventually you'll come and invest in my flips and be the passive investor then.
Yes. Once you, we're going to talk about that later, like how to vet your operators. As long as you get a couple of deals under your belt, I'm totally in.
So I have to learn how to open emails and read them before a meeting. That would be the first step.
That's the first step. And then the second is, once for me, I know I wouldn't invest in anybody's deal unless they have a track record.
Yeah.
I don't invest in startups or I do tech. And same with real estate. I don't want to invest in a startup real estate guy, especially if I'm giving them capital. I want to make sure they know what they're doing.
Yeah. And
So-
Kara definitely has a great track record.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can tell you, she manhandles her job sites.
Yeah.
Like, it is very impressive. And yeah, she's got a good track record. But let's get into your deal. So what we have, and I kind of broke this all in the email when you get, I know you're a very big BiggerPockets podcast star, but when you do have time, or maybe have your assistant read it to you, or Tony can read it to you. It was fun. So in the email, kind of what I did is I just sent you the rough information on the property.
Okay.
We vetted the deal. We know it's good. We're perfectly comfortable taking down this property. One thing I think that is important about any operator, I always ask, do you have any skin in the game? And would you buy that deal? If you don't raise the capital, are you going to buy it anyways? And if they say, well, no, then that's a concerning thing to me, right? Like, they're not comfortable putting their own money in the deal. So no matter what, whether you do this or not, I'm buying this property.
Okay.
So I guess that's the first good thing for vetting. But in the body of the email, what I have is I have kind of a bullet point of what we're going to be doing there. So you have the address to where you can look at where the location is. And then I attached the property details and the tax records for the property here. So as you can see, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's 2,256 square feet, and it's on a 12,000 square foot lot. The other thing that I really like as far as it being your first flip is the property is built in 1963. In the Pacific Northwest, when properties are built north of 1959, typically they have a lot better mechanicals. So your plumbing and your electrical are more repairable rather than full replacement, which is going to knock your timelines down by almost 50%. The last thing you want to do is get into some big project on your first deal and get strung out for a year, because of permitting, different types of inspections. And so you always want to take kind of these baby steps to where you can get in and out. You can kind of learn your lessons. In addition to, there's a lot less variance in your construction costs typically.
Okay.
Because you're not, some of your most expensive trades are your mechanical guys, which are your electricians, your plumbers, your framers. And because we're starting with a very good set, because the year built, it's a good first flip for you.
Let me ask you this. So if I was going out and if I didn't have you and I was going to analyze the market in Washington, how do you know those years? I mean, obviously you know that because you've done so many flips in the market, but if I was just starting out, how could someone find out what kind of, which era had which kind of mechanics in the house?
And that's a great question. And it really is area dependent, because even when I did something on BiggerPockets, someone come and I talked about how I hated 1930s houses in the Pacific Northwest. Mm-hmm. And my opinion, they're the worst built homes in Washington. And then someone piped in there and go, those are actually the best homes built in Missouri, right? And I was like, okay, well, it's all different. It depends on what's going on and what they're building. I would say the first thing you want to do is really work with the right team, right? So if you're looking at, if you're a new investor and you're not working with an operator, there's specialty brokers out there that know construction. They know how to evaluate properties. They've been doing it for a long time. So like at Dainard Real Estate, we do all this work for our client. We kind of explain to them, hey, this kind of era this era is going to give you these problems, because each era is going to give you a different issue, right? 1900s, 1930s, they're old. You got to rebuild the whole thing. You got to bring them up seismically. 1950s and 79 are actually good bones. They have the best kind of wood because they use actual wood in them, at least in the Pacific Northwest. And the 80s have really good mechanicals, but they have bad windows and sidings because they're built during inflationary periods. So there's all these little factors that go in. And it's really about market knowledge. So if you're working with the right broker, they should be able to help you with that. In addition to, before you buy that first flip, you need to build your team. On our team, and the team that you're going to be essentially investing in, we have our real estate brokers and our deal finders that are going to get us the product. Our company at Dainard Real Estate is going to do the analysis, which is the pro forma and the budgeting and just kind of the analytics behind the deal. And then we have 5 general contractors and subcontractors that we're always working with. And if you're new, you want at least to get 2 on your bench. And as you're walking through these generals, they're going to be able to educate you a little bit more. In addition to, you can also hire on your first walkthrough, hire a home inspector. It's going to cost you $500 to $700. and you can go through while they're doing the home inspection and ask them all these questions. They're going to have a lot of market knowledge on what's going on in your local area too. And most of the time, if you paid them for the full inspection, they're going to answer you questions that you're going to get a lot more additional information outside of what they're actually hired for.
Okay. Okay. So this one isn't going to be like a full gut rehab, and you have a contractor in place. So what's going to be kind of the next step here is we build out a budget. So you found the deal, you got it from somebody on your team, correct?
Yeah, so we sourced it off market, and then what we did, and then what we've done in this body of the email is what we do is we run our rough projections before we actually commit to the deal.
Okay.
So we did secure it, because the last thing you want to do is wait too long and go, well, is this a good deal? Let me think about it for a week. And then someone swoops it, or someone like me swoops it from you, because we can make the decision quick.
So real quick, how do you secure it? You just do a contract and put down a deposit with the seller? What does that kind of look like?
Yeah. So what you want to do, especially if you're a newer investor, is if you think the deal is a good buy because you run your prelim underwriting, and we'll talk about that in a second, you want to put it under contract, and you always want to have a feasibility period or inspection period in that time. That's where you can do all your fine tuning on your numbers, get your estimates, do your walkthroughs, and then give commitment at that point. So we wrote a purchase and sale to the seller already. He made it easy on us. He told us what he wanted to sell it for, which worked inside of our numbers. And then we've secured it with a contract. So currently we just penciled it or inked this deal. And now we have 5 days during our feasibility or inspection to go through the process. Okay. In addition to, I already know this is a no-brainer deal. So we waived inspection on it, which a newer investor wouldn't want to do. But one thing that's listed on the tax record, and that's what's so important about this record that I sent you, it tells us what our mechanicals are. And what it said is it's on a septic system. So that means it's not hooked up to public sewer. Mm-hmm. And if that fails, if it doesn't work during the inspection period, that can be a $35,000 bill for us, which will make a huge impact across our pro forma. So we wrote this under a contract, and the only inspection that we have is an actual septic inspection. It does give us an out on the contract if we don't want it at that point, but we have that in there to get it. So yes, if you're new, always write a contract with an inspection period, run all your numbers, do all your analytics, and then waive once you feel comfortable on it.
Okay, that sounds good. And I see on there in your email that you guys already had that done, that it was inspected, repaired, and passed.
Yes, yeah, and that was part of it. And so part of also that, when you're writing your feasibility, the reason the seller liked us and gave us a good price on the house is because we made it easy. We did our walkthrough. He knew we were professional, and he goes, okay, you guys know what you're doing. And then at that time, he goes, I'll sell it to you if you buy it as is, where is. And I said, we can do that, but the only thing I don't have is X-ray vision. I can't see what's going on. You're saying that your septic is working and you can flush the toilets. That's a great sign. There should not be any issues. But if there is issues, I have not accounted for that number. So we prep the seller for that at the same time. Okay. And then what we do is we pay for the inspection, and then we like to have the septics repaired prior to closing. So we close, and it's easy for us to obtain permits down the road as well.
Okay, I see.
And so we've already contracted the house. We had the septic inspected. I think it was like a $4,000 repair that the seller is paying for. And then we're kind of going to get into the kind of core information on this. So in this email, we have the address, and we can see what the house is. So I always like to know, first thing I like to do is I'm looking at any deal is look at the street view on it. So this is possibly your first flip. What I need you to do though is I need you to review all the information, and then if you are interested, we want you to come out and look at it, because it's very important for us. Anybody investing in our deals understands actually what we're doing. Right. Okay. And then we'll walk through the project, and I'll take you through the scope of work. We're going to really break down those numbers, because it's all fine and dandy when I'm saying, hey, we're going to put 110 in, but how does that work? Right. We have to make sure that we're hitting our numbers, and we'll walk you through all those processes. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'm definitely interested and excited. So I will book a flight out there ASAP. Like tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah. You know me, any reason to travel. Yeah, well, it's also on you. Whether you get on the plane or not, it's not going to affect me too much. Right. But I think this
But you
is
need
really,
a decision. You need a decision right away.
yes, we need a decision. We don't really have time to wait. And I do think for your first flip, this is a great project.
Yeah.
It's new enough. It's not in terrible shape. There's gonna be a lot of less variance, and the projections and the upside in this deal are astronomical.
Yeah. Okay. I will tell you, this is the most expensive house that I've ever bought.
Yeah, what's your typical price point you play in?
Like 20,000 to 150,000 is really what like the price point is around here.
So the down payment is basically what you would pay for a whole house.
Yeah. Or I've bought 3 duplexes for $20,000 each.
So does this make you nervous?
What?
Does this make you nervous that you would be giving me you're basically investing 4 duplexes in me?
Yeah.
You're risking 4 duplexes on me.
Yeah, that's what it will be. This will be the most money I've the most expensive house I've ever bought.
Well, hopefully I don't lose it.
Yeah. So
all right, well, let's get you out there. Let's do our walkthrough,
Okay.
and then we gotta move forward to closing at that point. And if you come out and you like it, then what we're gonna do is go over the paperwork, go over the agreements that we need to go through, how we're gonna title the property, and kind of go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
All right,
Thank
cool.
you.
Well, let me know and we'll get you out here.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.